I'm gonna move on to WWE. All right, I know we usually focus on WWE, but for today, there was a big New Japan weekend, Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty. So I'm gonna move on to WWE. All right, some important stuff happened there too, especially considering the Netflix debut is tomorrow as we speak. Tonight, probably, as you guys are listening to this, if you guys are listening to our podcast as it's being released on a Monday morning, as it usually is. But okay, so SmackDown. Let's talk about what happened on SmackDown. I'm not going to go through everything. Once again, I'll refer you guys to our YouTube blog post. There's a link in the description below where me, Vlad, and Robert reviewed every storyline from SmackDown. For example, Solo Sikoa's meeting with Paul Heyman. And Kevin Owens running into the Bloodline backstage, too, which was an interesting segment. But for the purposes of today's show, I'm going to stick with the Bloodline stuff because the Bloodline is going to have a big tribal combat match this Monday. So I'm going to mention – well, I'm also going to mention that Cody and Drew had a interesting segment because Drew showed up on SmackDown as teasing possibly heading to SmackDown. But we will focus today on the Bloodline Civil War and Drew McIntyre's involvement. So this is the storyline that I want to focus on today. So there was a big six-man tag team match. It was the Bloodline against the OG Bloodline. Six-man tag for the main event. So I guess I have some pictures of this. Let me pull something up just so we have a frame of reference to talk about what's going on. So there was a big six-man tag. It was Jacob, what's left of Solo's bloodline, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Solo against the Usos and Sami Zayn, right? Six-man tag team main event. And out comes Drew McIntyre. All right, so Drew McIntyre, who has been involved with Solo's crew in a way, right, Vlad? How can I describe this? I guess they had a meeting where Solo talked with Drew a few weeks ago, and Drew decided, hey, it's not you that I have a beef with. Even though you used to do Roman's dirty work, it's Roman that I have a beef with. So I found it very... I feel like his involvement in this is very important. And maybe it's just me looking into this, but I think he's going to be involved in this tribal combat match. Just because
it's a safe bet.
It doesn't seem fair. Like right now, all Solo has is Tama Tonga and Jacob. So he only has 3 guys, while the other guys have 4 guys. You know? So Drew was probably going to be involved. And I did mention that segment, Robert, with let me pull this off for 1 second, because we're not going to review that scene, but I did want to at least mention that KO ran into the Usos in the back, and I was thinking, Vlad, if you expect Drew to show up, it would make sense that KO would kind of want to be involved in this too, but I think he's got too much going on. The fact that he's feuding with Cody, and the fact that he's the WWF champion currently, he doesn't have a lot of time to, you know, get involved in this bloodline thing. You know what I mean? He's got to protect that title belt that he's got. So I don't see KO getting involved. But Drew is another story. Okay, so let me get back to the video I had playing, or the clips that I have of Drew McIntyre coming in. Okay, so Drew comes in to try to help Solo's bloodline in this match. So Roman's not there. All right, that was one criticism I had of this episode of SmackDown. It was the first 3-hour SmackDown, but they couldn't get Roman on the show. Roman couldn't be bothered to come to the show on the last show before they have tribal combat. So he let his boys go out there to deal with Solo's bloodline for him. But long story short, let's see what happened. So Drew comes out there, and I think Jey Uso dives onto him on the outside. So Drew didn't really have much to do with the ending of this match. He was just there to try to distract the bloodline. But in the end, Solo still is loved by Jacob Fatu, so let's get that straight, okay? Jacob Fatu still loves, so he's going to fight with all he's got in this tribal combat match, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But there was a splash, Uso splash, onto Jacob Fatu, and I think Jey Uso thought he was going to get the pin, but Solo comes in with a spike, and that was it. So Solo's bloodline with the win right before Tribal Combat. So that gives them the momentum, and there's Jimmy and Jay and Sammy dejected on the floor. No Roman to be seen as the show ends. No Roman to be found. All right, so I guess I'll go through our reviews real quick of the match, the main event match from this past Monday. So all three of us gave it a thumbs up. We all liked it. I don't know. I guess I didn't give it a higher score because, like I said, I don't really see what Roman Reigns is doing. What the fuck is Roman doing? Why couldn't he be there in such an important night? So I didn't get that. But okay, the big question I have coming out of this is that since Drew is so involved, and this is going to be a no DQ tribal combat match, is Vlad kind of sees where I'm hinting at this, that I expect Drew McIntyre to get involved in this match. So listen, before we give predictions for the tribal combat match, if anyone wants to talk about anything from SmackDown, here's your chance. So it was a 3-hour show. We had the last go home for this tribal combat match happened on that show. And also the Tiffany thing we're going to mention later, so don't mention the Tiffany thing. But if you want to talk about anything else, now's your chance, or else I'll move on. So either one of you guys, Vlad, Robert?
Robert, you want to go first if you had something you want to say?
Anything else besides the bloodline stuff? No.
Yeah, well, basically anything from the bloodline stuff, yeah.
Oh, I will say I did think that Solo's bloodline needed the victory here because they've lost a lot more often than they've won. So I would have booked them to win, whether they won clean or not. They needed to have the victory.
All right. Oh, did you like this episode of SmackDown? Sorry, it was a 3-hour episode. Did you think that
it was too long? You know what? I didn't know it was gonna be a 3-hour episode until halfway through when one of the commentators mentioned it. I'm like, oh man, I still have another hour and a half to get through.
You didn't realize it was gonna be a 3-hour episode until you realized you've been watching for 3 hours.
That's how they get you, Robert. That's how they get you.
Well, I didn't think it was going to be a big transition for me either, but it did take me a while to watch it. I kind of noticed that it took me several sittings to get through it. Vlad, the 3 hours thing, did that throw you off, or are you okay? Are you okay, man?
I'm okay because, look, I don't watch wrestling the same way, I guess, as you or Robert. The stuff I don't like, I just kind of skip. So there was something I didn't really care for, I just ignored it or forwarded along. So I mean, I'm okay. But can I comment on the show? Like you said, I can talk about only the bloodline in this thing, or can I talk
anything else except Tiffany Stratton, because we got a segment for that at the end of the show. So
yeah. I mean, the match was pretty solid. The right team won. Nothing, it's all leading to that big Raw Netflix tribal combat stuff. That's going to be obviously very interesting, how they booked that. The Cody KO stuff with Drew involved in the opening segment, I thought was really, really good. Really liked that. That was a tremendous segment, where it seemed like didn't seem like it was, where Drew and Kevin Owens were working together to kind of get one over on Cody, even though Drew was like, when he hugged Cody at the beginning, I popped. Man, I popped hard. Like, man, this is fantastic. Drew was just killing it, bro. That was such. I laughed and popped at the same time, man. I was like, oh man, he is just in another world right now. He is so good. Because that was a great moment. But I'm trying to think what else happened that I actually.
Well, there was that solo scene with Paul Heyman.
Oh yeah. That was. I mean, Paul Heyman, obviously sold it with that look that you have the picture of, in the sense of I think it said that if he was to win the match, that he wants the wise man to still put.
Well, is he still? Wants the. If he wants the wise man so bad, why did they fucking kick him out in the first place? I don't know.
But once he wins this tribal combat, they'll have no choice. I guess is the thing, but to acknowledge him as the tribal chief, which makes me think he's not. There's really no chance he's going to win. But I mean, maybe there is a chance. I'm going back and forth if there's actually a chance. But we'll talk about that when we do the predictions. But yeah, well,
let's do it. Let's do it right now. We're going to the Raw Netflix predictions. Although our first one is CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, let's stay on topic and let's skip to the Roman and Solo stuff, and let's do that first. So okay, Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa tonight, baby. This is crazy. First of all, it's not even a Raw feud; it's a SmackDown feud. But January 6th. And Netflix is such a big deal that they made this, and this is going to be wild. It's going to be tribal combat. There's no goddamn rules. Everyone's going to be there. Like I said, even Drew McIntyre. I even think Kevin Owens should get off his ass and get involved. If he hates anybody who's friends with Roman, you'd think he would hate Roman, and he wouldn't. But he's not going to get involved. But anyways, okay. I'll start with Vlad. You want to make your call? Go ahead and make your call.
Brother. Okay, it's actually tougher than you think because obviously when Roman wins, obviously he's back to being tribal chief, and that sets him up for the rest of the year with whatever, and that puts this angle to bed and stuff like that. But then I started thinking like, okay, they could go that route, but what is that? We've always been talking like, what does that really do for Solo? Like, where does he go from here after he loses this? Like, goes to the mid card. Competes for the U.S. title. I mean, like he's going to take a huge step back if he's not the tribal chief. But man,
and The Rock, Robert, right? The Rock is.
I think that's the big thing. That's the big thing. Like, if predict I'm going to predict that The Rock helps Solo win, and so Solo will be the tribal chief. But I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. But that's what I'm going to go with.
Go ahead and make your guess. I know it's a tough one, but just lock something in.
I do think that if there's going to be any interference, it'll have to be by The Rock, I think. After that SmackDown segment where Solo said to Paul Heyman that, if I win, you become my wise man. I feel like that could be an interesting angle, something that they could work with for a while. They might roll with it. So I could very easily see Solo winning this with help from The Rock. So you know what? I'm gonna go with Solo. It's a very tough choice, but I'm gonna go with a Solo victory.
I don't know. I think after all I've seen Solo get buried, I don't have any faith in him. I'm picking Roman.
Well, yeah, I see that too. Like, okay, Roman obviously smart money. But
I think Solo's just gonna get buried here.
Okay, but if you bury him here, what do you do with the like? What I mean, obviously he's a young guy. They have some kind of hope that he will be something for them down the line. They kill him here. I don't know,
but it just seems like this is what WWE do lately. They're gonna send the crowd home happy.
Right.
So I don't know.
I mean, I could see it, but
I think they're gonna set something up for WrestleMania. So why not have a Solo
But I could still see Roman becoming tribal chief, and The Rock leading another stable against him. Like I could see The Rock leading Solo and Jacob Fatu against.
Okay. So maybe what happens is like Roman wins, but The Rock still comes out to challenge him for the actual, and then they have their tribal chiefdom. That could also happen. It's either one or the other. But I kind of with you in this, with Robert as well, in the sense of I don't want them to kill Solo. I think there's
Solo's already dead, bro. It's over.
But not if he wins the match. Not right. He's not. You agreed that if he wins the match, he's not completely dead.
Yeah, if he wins the match, but
you're saying there's
that'd be tough. He doesn't even have Tongaloa.
He doesn't need Tongaloa.
He needs
Okay.
Tongaloa.
Tongaloa is the weakest member of the
The infamous
The infamous Tongaloa. Yeah, let's get it right.
Nobody knows
All
why
right.
he's
All right.
infamous anyways.
Let me move along. We got to get through the rest of the card. It's not that much, actually, so there's just a few matches. But I started with that. I think the main event is tapped to be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins.
Is it really?
So-
Okay, I thought it'd be Roman, but okay.
I mean, it's kind of what I saw online today, so I'm not exactly sure, but I think
Yeah.
this is supposed to be the last match of the night. So
Whoa.
I could see that.
This is my main event, so
Yeah. That's true.
I don't really see this having a conclusive ending, though. I don't think this is going to be the end of this. Whoever wins, I don't know.
I agree with that.
So, all right, Robert, you could start this time.
Okay.
You want to pass?
Man,
You
this,
want to
this is another.
You want to go to
this-
Vlad first?
This is another tough one.
And for the audio podcast people, if anybody's only listening, Robert's background is CM Punk arguing with Seth Rollins. They've given us a lot of good scenes lately.
I love that promo battle. By the way, that's if I put it. Dang, I don't know, man.
All right, let me jump to
I'm gonna
Vlad.
go.
Vlad,
Yeah, go ahead, Vlad.
you go first. Let Robert think about it. Let's see what you got.
I'm gonna go with Seth. I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Seth. I think
Do you
he's
think
gonna win.
Seth might cheat? And
Yeah, he's gonna cheat. I think they're setting up a Seth kind of a heel thing, anyways. Sort of. I mean, he's kind of been a babyface, but I think he's gonna, after this Raw, he's gonna be full-fledged heel. So
yeah, I could see him hating Punk so much that he'll do something nefarious.
But I think we'll
Maybe.
continue their feud, and I see a rematch at the Rumble.
Yeah, I see a rematch at WrestleMania. I think that'll happen.
You think they could push it that long? Okay, I didn't think about that, but I was thinking Rumble. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if they want to really push it that long, and if it's going well, I mean, they
definitely see a rematch. I don't see this being the last match for them. I think this is the first match.
Yeah, the first match. That's why I said to make it more interesting. For me, it would be if Seth won. So that's
I think
how
so
I
too.
look at it.
I think Punk is the babyface and he's gonna win in the end. So I don't see him winning this one. But okay, Robert, I don't know if our thoughts have swayed you, but you gotta lock something.
Yeah, I think you guys convinced me. It's gonna be Seth.
All right.
I think it's gonna be Seth.
Hopefully Punk just hits him with the go to sleep and we never hear from Seth Rollins ever again. But okay, let me move along.
I like this Seth Rollins. This version of Seth Rollins.
Everyone is great when they're hating on CM Punk. It's like the best version of everybody. When
That's true.
Yeah.
When they fucking feud with CM Punk. Drew
so far,
McIntyre. Okay, all right. The next one we already did Roman and Solo. We got Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, another superstar matchup they've added onto this marquee episode of Raw debuting on.
This is like a PLE.
Yeah.
Well, was really just one more match after this, but okay. I'll start with Vlad. Is this the end for Liv Morgan?
Yeah, this is the yeah. I'm not gonna. This is not even a hard one for me. I think Rhea wins for sure. I'm like,
You don't think this is another one they can extend till WrestleMania?
I don't think they should. I think it's kind of played itself out. I know they've gotten a lot of mileage on this, and they obviously Liv has killed it in 2024, as we said, and I think she'll still do great things in 2025. As her character's tremendous, but I don't think this can go on until WrestleMania could it go to the Rumble? I mean, the Rumble's in like less than a month, maybe. But I think I would end it here, and I'd have Rhea win.
All right, me too. I think this is it. Robert, unanimous or what?
So they've had a great feud, but I do believe it's run its course, and it ends tomorrow night, or for those watching on a Monday, it ends tonight.
Right.
All right. Last match we got, which I think this is going to be before the tribal combat match is what I'm thinking.
For sure. This will be one of their
and then they'll both be involved in the tribal combat match itself. But much like Drew McIntyre beat Sami Zayn at Saturday night's main event, I think Drew McIntyre is also going to beat Jey Uso here. So that's my prediction. Robert, you want a prediction on this?
I picked Drew to win this one.
All right then. Yeah, I think we all will, right, Vlad?
Yes, I agree.
Drew's the man. Drew's the man.
Drew's the man lately, and it makes more sense for him to win.
All right, and then the beginning of we don't know what the fuck this is, but John Cena begins his farewell tour, which is supposedly going to end his last year as a wrestler, kind of like Daniel Bryan, right, last year. So I guess he'll be starting his feud with Final Testament, right? I expect Karrion Kross to go out there and slap him across the face.
Oh, God.
That's what I'm thinking. But no, I don't know. I don't know what the hell this is going to be. If anyone wants to make any comments about John Cena's farewell tour beginning tomorrow, I don't know what the hell we could see from this. Maybe he could show up in that Bloodline tribal war. I don't know.
I mean, he's been involved in other Bloodline business, right? So maybe. I don't see that.
No,
I don't see him getting involved in that. But I do think that.
You got any ideas for final matches or feuds or anything? I mean, I gave one. I don't know. I don't know if it's good, but at least I gave one.
Wait, the Karrion Kross thing was real? That was a real thing?
Final Testament against John Cena. Yeah, at least that's something he could go out on top and win.
Wait, did he say what show is going to be his last?
Is it WrestleMania or no? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I mean,
well, he did say this will be his last WrestleMania.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to be his last.
I mean, I don't know. Does that mean he's going to go? See, the thing is, we don't know if he's wrestling all the way to the end of the year or what. But I don't know. There's a lot of things you could do with him. I mean, you would like to see him against Punk, for example.
Yeah, but they can't do that. Come on.
You'd like to see him against.
Cena is old. I don't see him having like a feud like that, like against a young superstar.
Well, Punk's not really a young superstar, so that could work.
Yeah, but Punk is he's a top guy.
Picture. Sure. I don't know. I mean, I can't really figure out who he should work with, honestly. But I mean, you would think that it should be major, right? Because it's Cena. I mean, you don't think it's going to be like an undercard thing. I mean, I don't know.
Well, he could get his win back against Solo because Solo fucked him up last time they had a match.
Yeah, last year.
And now since Solo is like dead and buried and, he's not going to be a top guy, maybe they could let Cena get his win back against Solo.
Jesus, you want someone to just get put over everybody lately. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really know what the plan is for Cena. I mean, I'm sure they have one. But I don't know what it would be, honestly.
So, my thoughts, I don't know what his last show will be. If it's WrestleMania, then I don't know. But if it's after WrestleMania, my choice for his final opponent should be Randy Orton. Because he had a very long rivalry with him. So that would be my choice if it's after WrestleMania. Because I don't know.
I don't want to see that personally. Really? But I mean, they had such a heated feud. I don't think they can conjure up some of that same heat. It'll just be like a respectful, old man feud where they just have a match. I don't really dig that idea. But it could be all right, I guess. I don't know. But okay, so John Cena's farewell tour. We got that to look forward to tomorrow/tonight. But okay, that's it. That's the predictions for